Well, clearly, voters are not buying what Joe Biden and Democrats are selling. Joining me now to discuss is Charlie Hurt, Washington Times opinion editor, Fox News contributor, and Katie Pavlich, editor at town.com. I was townhall.com, and also a Fox News contributor. Actually, first of all, Charlie, thanks for coming back. I felt really guilty about last night, our birthday show.
No.
Not enough time.
It's your birthday. I mean, you get to do whatever you want to on your birthday.
Okay. But we love you. And Katie, I was reading on Town Hall, the Q poll. We had talked a little bit about it. The Q poll, which is kind of a liberal-leaning poll historically. So Biden's got 37% approval rating and a 56% disapproval rating, okay? Now, that's a lot. He's been in a year, just a little more than a year. I've never seen things plunge faster and deeper than what he's experienced. What do you make of it? And, you know, is this foreboding for the midterms? The cavalry really is coming to save us?
Well, first I would say about the polling. So President Biden's problem is threefold. He has a problem with the left, he has a problem with the so-called moderates of his party, and then the rest of America, which is saying, how is it that inflation is up by, 20% in some cases, sometimes even more, and the only solution the White House is offering is more government spending, while Joe Biden is, trying to tout legislation that was passed months ago because he doesn't have any accomplishments to run on right now. So he was, for someone who was supposed to be getting back to normal, someone who spent 40 years in Washington, was going to bring everybody together, those were his promises. The poll numbers dropping that quickly are kind of astonishing, but when you look at the policies that he's implemented and the things that this White House has focused on for the last year, it's not surprising that his poll numbers are so low. And you're seeing all these House members, Democrats retiring. That's not surprising, but what you should be paying attention to is the Senate, because that is something that Democrats thought they could hold on to, but in places like Arizona, Nevada, and Georgia, especially where Biden is underwater by a lot, Republicans have a good chance of taking back those seats.
Yeah, Charlie, let's speculate a wee bit about the Senate, Katie's point. I mean, if I were a Republican running for the Senate in one of these swing states, I would run against Joe Biden. And whoever my opponent was, incumbent or not, I would just label them, the Joe Biden of Arizona, the Joe Biden of Pennsylvania, the Joe Biden of Connecticut. But can the GOP take the Senate? Can they get get it to 52, get it to 54?
Well, I think that if you had asked me this a year ago, I would have said it would be very difficult, because if you look at the map for Republicans next year in the Senate, it's a really tough map. I mean, they're not. They have to defend a couple of seats, and the places where they have to make gains are not easy places for them. But fast forward to where we are now, as Katie just laid out. I mean, and by the way, claiming that everybody is the Joe Biden of Arizona, or the Joe Biden of wherever is actually not an unfair way to run a campaign, by the way.
Right.
It's actually pretty smart, because the problem with Joe Biden are these ideas, are the issues, are the things that he has screwed up since he's been in office. And so I think that so fast forwarding to today, we've never seen a guy come into office with more goodwill than Joe Biden had at the beginning of this administration. And man, he has burned through it like nothing we've ever seen before. And so I would say, without a doubt, Republicans are in a very good position to take the Senate, which again, extraordinary to imagine a year ago. But here's the other thing, Larry. In 3 years from now, 2 years after the 2022 election, the map looks a whole lot better for Republicans.
Wow.
So not only do I think that they're in a position to make gains this time when they have a terrible map, once the 2 and 4 year terms after that, the map looks a whole lot better for them. So it's going to get even better for them.
Katie, it's like there's no issue of significance where the public agrees with Biden. Like I'm just saying, it's not my view, it's just, that's what these polls are showing. I mean, I'm reading your townhall.com story about the different issues, run down the issues. Nobody agrees with him on anything. Perhaps the one thing he had was face masks and COVID, but, with the mandate hysteria, he's lost that too. I mean, the guy has no support on any of the issues.
Well, he has no support on any of the issues. That's true, but it's not just a matter of policy. It's also a matter of trust. So Joe Biden said a year ago he wasn't going to implement any kind of vaccine mandate. They lied about that. The Afghanistan debacle that happened in August, which now he's saying he's just rejecting the findings of what happened there, lying about what happened with the withdrawal in Afghanistan, and now you're seeing this international crisis happening with Ukraine and Russia. Also looks like Joe Biden, who's been wrong on foreign policy for his entire career, is going to end poorly. And we're finding out just yesterday that that's not just for Ukrainians, but the Americans now have to worry about a cyber attack from Russia on our water sources and possibly our electrical grid or our energy source. And when you have the president saying your energy prices might go up as a result of this crisis that is going on because Joe Biden is so weak, Americans are paying attention to that, and the White House is not getting any more wins when it comes to the legislative agenda on Capitol Hill. And Joe Biden, after 1 year, is essentially a lame duck president.
Yeah, wow. I think you're right. The cavalry's coming, but I don't know, the enemy's folding. The enemy is folding before the cavalry's coming. Very interesting. Katie Pavlich, thank you. Charlie Hurt, thank you. Appreciate it very much.